Welcome back, guys. It's Doug from STAR. This is the iGel tutorial. The iGel is an advanced airway that we carry on both our basic and advanced licensed ambulances. The iGel is a very simple and very effective advanced airway with minimal accessories. It basically comes with the iGel device, a head strap to hold it in place, and a little packet of lubricant, and that's it. That's all you need to do, all you need to put one in. There are three sizes. You have the yellow, which is for weight ranges of 30 to 60 kilograms, all right? Then the more common one you're going to use is the green. This is for 50 to 90 kilograms, okay? And then the orange is the largest one that they make. This is for 90 plus kilograms, all right? So they're color-coded, very easy to recognize. Now, the thing that you need to understand is the kilogram range for the iGel is based upon the patient's ideal body weight, not their actual body weight, all right? Your ideal body weight is really based upon your height. All right, you guys are all familiar with the term BMI. Well, that's basically how this is scored. So if you look at a ideal body weight chart here, we can see that for a 5'8" male, which is me, your ideal body weight is 154 pounds, or roughly 69.8, 70 kilograms, okay? So I am a size 4 iGel all day long. Okay, now if I weighed 300 pounds, the internal anatomy of my airway is going to remain the same size. It doesn't get bigger with my outside, okay? So again, what you need to understand is that a patient who weighs perhaps, 300 pounds is really going to get the airway that's appropriate for their height. Now, how do you tell how tall someone is? Well, generally, we can guesstimate that by looking at them or putting ourselves next to them. But in a CPR situation, that patient's going to be laying on the ground. It's going to be kind of difficult to gauge. But generally, you want to look at the size of their frame. If they're a adolescent or a petite female, then you're going to put a yellow or a size 3 in them. If they look like an average adult size, they're a green. And if they look like they play for the NFL or they play collegiate level basketball, then they're going to get a 5 or an orange, okay? That's a pretty easy rule of thumb. We should go through a lot of 4s before we drop a 5 or a 3. All right, so once you've sized the patient appropriately, you're going to open up your airway, your iGel. You're going to have a head strap as well as a packet of lubricant, okay, that comes with it. Keep in mind that this is sterile, okay? When it comes out of the package, it is sterile and should remain so until you place it in the patient. So you don't want to take it out of the cradle and set it on the stretcher or the floor or whatever. You want to keep it clean. So with one hand, you're going to hold the iGel. With the other hand, you want to tear open your packet and put a nice big glob of lubricant right there in the middle of the cradle, all right? You're going to get the iGel lubed up by lubing the back of it and the sides, and maybe a little dab right there, but don't get the front of it all slippery. That's where it's going to fit over the tracheal opening, okay? So you're going to, again, put some on the back side where it's going to slide along the palate, okay, and the sides, so you can get past the fascial pillars, okay? Now for this purpose, I'm going to use some soapy water. I don't want to get a bunch of nasty lubricant in my mannequin, but it's so simple. You're going to put the patient in the sniffing position, and you're going to slide that iGel right in and push it down, okay? And that's it. We're in, okay? Don't believe me? Get the BVM and look at that, okay? So easy. Now, again, it comes with that head strap, so I'm going to go ahead and place my head strap Obviously, they always teach you in paramedic school that if you let go of your ET tube, that's an auto fail. The great thing about the iGel is it really can't go anywhere. The head strap here is pretty much to hold it in place so it doesn't come out, but literally you can't make it go any deeper in there, okay? It really is going to stay in place. So once it's secured, okay, and you've verified it's flowing, rather you need to verify that it is in the proper place, okay? Now, you've learned in your basic EMT program, you're going to check bilateral breath sounds, equal chest rise, fog in the tube, all that great stuff. But the gold standard is capnometry, okay? The measurement of carbon dioxide coming out of the patient. And you do that with a colorimetric CO2 detection device like this one, okay? This one one of these devices, they come in a foil packet. They should be included with your iGel. Wherever your iGel is stored, you should have one of these right next to it, okay? This goes on between the BVM and the advanced airway. Now, when it comes out of the package, it will be purple. This is litmus paper. This changes color in the presence of carbon dioxide. This is normally purple when it comes out of the package, okay? Because this one has been out of the package for so long, it's absorbed atmospheric carbon dioxide, and now it's not going to change color anymore. It's stuck yellow or gold, however you see it, okay? But when it comes out of the package, it is purple, okay? I'm going to attach it like that, and then my BVM goes in between, or rather it goes on the other end, all right? Now, when I ventilate my patient for the first time with this CO2 detector, it is going to be purple, okay? I squeeze my bag, it's still purple. Only when I release the bag and the carbon dioxide in the patient's blood that is now filtered into the lungs comes out, will you see the color change to yellow, okay? And on each squeeze, you should see that color change, all right? It's going to be subtle, but you will see that color change. As long as you see that color change, you know that the airway is placed properly. You are in the right place and you are getting carbon dioxide out of the lungs. If there is no color change, if this just stays purple and doesn't change to gold when the patient exhales, I don't know what to tell you, because this thing is foolproof. But that would be an indication that it's not placed properly. There's just simply no carbon dioxide in the patient's stomach to give you a false reading. You've got to be in the right place over the tracheal opening. All right. Now, a few more things about the iGel. You can see, let me get a little closer to the camera here. You can see it's got this, this yellow cap right here. We don't worry about that. Don't mess with that. That's for supplemental oxygen. The other thing I want to point out is the hole right here. You see that? And you can actually look right through. It's transparent, and you can see that tube go all the way down, and it comes out the end right there, okay? This is for suctioning. You can use a French catheter to suction the patient while you are also performing ventilation on the patient. This is very helpful in the case of gastric distension. Maybe somebody who was bagging the patient before the airways placed, they were a little too eager, they were squeezing the bag too hard, and a lot of air got trapped in the stomach, okay? So the nice thing is that you can suction off some of that extra, that gas and perhaps some of the bile by using one of your included suction catheters, okay? You need to lube this up a little bit before you stick it in that hole though. So again, I'm gonna use some soapy water, but you're gonna use some of the lubricant off of your cradle, and you're gonna stick it in that hole and just work it back and forth a little bit to make sure that the lubricant gets smeared around, and then you're gonna go ahead and feed it on in, okay? And then you can cover up your little hole here, turn on your suction, cover up the exhaust port, and get a lot of that distension off the patient's stomach before it comes down to a vomiting situation. All right. Now, when the paramedics show up, again, this is a BLS tool. The paramedics actually have an advanced tool called Capnography. This is a capnography adjunct for inline CO2 monitoring. And the difference is that this device will simply tell you, is carbon dioxide present or not? Whereas when you hook this up to the cardiac monitor, this will tell you how much carbon dioxide is present, okay? It will give you a good indication of how effective your compressions are. If you are getting a value of 10 or higher of capnography while you're doing compressions, high quality compressions on the patient, that means that you are in fact in the range that you should be. Your person doing CPR is being effective. They're pushing deep enough, they're pushing fast enough, they're not tired, okay? If you see that value fall below 10, it could mean a couple of things. It could mean that whoever's on the chest is getting tired and not realizing it, and they need a break. They need to be swapped out. It also could mean that the patient has been down for a long time and simply the metabolism is beginning to cease inside of the patient's body, and you're not seeing any carbon dioxide circulated out because the muscles have died, okay? So it might be an indication that it's a futile effort, and it'll help you make that decision to either call medical control to cease efforts, or if you get at above 10, that will encourage you to keep going, okay? Keep an eye on capnography. If you see a sudden rise in capnography, a normal range of CO2 in an adult would be 35 to 45 millimeters of mercury, or 35 to 45 capnography. That is a healthy person's CO2 levels. Because someone in cardiac arrest, they've been laying there for a long time, CPR compressions are nowhere as efficient as a beating heart. When their heart starts up again in what's called ROSC, or return of spontaneous circulation, you're going to see a spike of CO2. It's going to go to 50, 60, maybe even 70, okay? With that heartbeat returning and that more efficient pump circulating that blood around and getting all that CO2 gas out of the bloodstream. So if you see a spike in capnography, definitely it's a time to say, pause CPR, let's check for a pulse. All right, so that was your little tutorial for the iGel. It's a super easy to use tool. There's no syringes, there's no balloons to inflate. It simply gets lubricated and slid right in there, and you really can't mess with it. So I hope this was helpful, and we're on to the next video.